Okay, Toads, let's get even. When the evil Dark Queen kidnaps both your best buddy and the best-looking girl this side of the Mazallan star cluster, what are you going to do about it? You going to cry? Hide? Call the star cops? No way, because you are a Battletoad, and Battletoads don't cry, hide, or call for help. Battletoads get real mad, and then they get even. So strap on your blaster, power up the Toadster, and get on down to the Dark Queen's planet. But watch out, Toad. This lady's bad, and she's got a whole mess of really nasty surprises lined up for you. Like the Psycho Pigs, the Mutant Rat Pack, Robomanus, the Saturn Toad Trap, just to name a few. But you're going to need all your fighting skills to defeat her. The Battletoad Butt, the Big Bad Boot, and the Nuclear Knuckles. And don't forget to take along the Jet Turbo, the Space Board, and the Speed Bike, because you're going to need them all, Toad, if you're going to rescue your friends and get the frog out of there with your green skin intact. You probably figured it out. It's Battletoads, viewers, from Rare and Trade West, released in June of 1991, the year of our gaming thing. Boy. Created by Tim and Chris Stamper, developed by Rare as the first installment of the Battletoads series, it was originally released for the NES in 91 and subsequently ported by Mindscape to the Amiga in 92, by Arc System Works to the Mega Drive and Genesis and Game Gear, both in 1993, by Rare to the Game Boy, retitled as Battletoads in Ragnarok's World, and by Mindscape to the Amiga CD32 in 1994. I'd actually be kind of interested in playing that one. Ports for the PC, DOS, and Atari ST were planned, but Mindscape never released them. Battletoads is arguably one of the most graphically advanced video games ever released for the NES at a time when the video game market was turning to the Mega Drive, Genesis, and the Super Nintendo. The game became famous for its extreme difficulty and humorous ways of beating enemies, as during finishing attacks, the character's body parts transform into gigantic, exaggerated appendages for devastating effects and comic effect. Not really, though. The levels of Battletoads vary in gameplay style. Most prominent are the beat-em-up levels that appear as either traditional side-scrolling or as isometric platforming stages, in which we progress by defeating enemies. We can finish off enemies in special ways, such as punching or kicking them with a large fist or boot, or by transforming into a wrecking ball. In obstacle course and race levels, we must dodge a series of obstacles while driving or flying at high speeds, or outrun an enemy that can instantly kill a player's character. Other levels include a climbing, jumping snake maze, an underwater level with lethal spikes and dangerous monsters, and 2 tower climb levels. There are 4 warp points hidden in various levels that, when found, allow a player to automatically advance by 2 levels. We start with 3 lives, and each time the game is started or continued, after receiving a game over, we have 3 lives. Plot of Battletoads is described in the instruction booklet and in a short cutscene after the title. Professor T-Bird and the 3 Battletoads, Rash, Zitz, and Pimple, are escorting Princess Angelica to her home planet using their spacecraft, the Vulture. Pimple and Angelica decide to take a temporary leisurely trip on Pimple's own ship. They are ambushed and captured by the Dark Queen and her troops, who were recently defeated by the Galactic Corporation and have retreated into hiding. Pimple sends out a distress signal to the Vulture, alerting Professor Bird, Rash, and Zitz that Pimple and Angelica have been taken to Ragnarok's World. The Vulture flies to Ragnarok's World, where Professor Bird releases Rash and Zitz. The 2 descend beneath the planet's surface, where Pimple and Angelica are imprisoned. The game was received well by most critics. It was nominated for 9 categories in 1991 Nintendo Power Awards, winning the first place in the categories of graphics and sound, theme and fun, best play control, best multiplayer or simultaneous, and second place in the category best play control for the Game Boy version, third place for the best challenge in the NES, and was also given the title of by far overall best game of 1990. I'm interested to see what came in first and second in that best challenges category. Look it up. Let me know. In 1997, Nintendo Power ranked as the NES version the 89th best game on any Nintendo platform, commenting, "The graphics created by Rare were so exceptional by any standard, and the game was so challenging and fun, we devoted an unprecedented 35 pages to it." Subsequent Battletoads games, such as Battletoads in Battlemaniacs, were also beautifully done, but they didn't have the impact of the original. In 2010, Yu-Gi-Oh! Included it on the list of games that needed sequels, also featuring the Arctic Cavern levels on the list of coolest ice levels, while Spike ranked the game's ending as the 6th biggest letdown in video game history. Topless Robot, I'm going to say that again. Topless Robot ranked Battletoads as the #1 least terrible Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoff in 2008. Alright, you know what? Topless Robot. Add to favorites. I'll look at that later. Also naming it as one of the 10 best beat-em-ups of all time in 2010. And as one of the 10 video games that should have gotten toys in 2012. I like this Topless Robot, people. I do indeed. Whatever happened to Topless Robot? Whatever happened to Robot Jones, viewers? We're getting off track. Battletoads is probably the most remembered for its extreme difficulty, even for experienced players. The game has been included in numerous occasions among the hardest games ever made, including the #1 spot as determined by game trailers. According to Destructoid, despite the game's brutal and unbalanced difficulty, it is remembered as one of the most beloved titles of the 8-bit generation. In 2012, Yahoo Games said that the game is still widely recognized as one of the hardest, if not the hardest, game ever made, particularly noting the ability for players to accidentally harm their player in 2-player mode. That same year, it was also listed among 10 classic video games that deserve an HD remake by Yahoo News. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You've heard of Battletoads. If you're watching this, you've heard of Battletoads. There, we're done. Now I'm going to go look at a Topless Robot.